What's up, guys? It's MB Boxing, and today I'm going to be predicting the outcome of Isaac Cruz versus Jose Rayo Valenzuela, and this is going to be a 12-rounder for the WBA Regular Super Lightweight World Championship, and this fight is going to be Saturday, August 3rd, from the BMO Stadium in Los Angeles, California, and this fight is going to be broadcasted on DAZN pay-per-view. And to get into both fighters' resumes, Isaac Cruz, fighting out of Mexico, holds a record of 26 wins, 2 defeats, and 1 draw, with 18 wins coming by way of knockout. He currently stands, obviously, at 5 feet 4 inches tall, has a 63-inch reach. He's currently 26 years of age, and currently ranked number 6 by BoxRec. I forgot if I mentioned that already, but he's also, obviously, the WBA Super Lightweight World Champion, or the regular Super Lightweight World Champion as of now. And to get into his resume, his losses, wins, his draw, his first loss came pretty early on in his career, back when he was fighting in his home country of Mexico, when he was very young, when he was like 16 years old, like 17, 18 years old. His first loss happened in 2016, obviously. He lost by unanimous decision to Luis Montaño Alvarez, but that loss obviously doesn't really matter too much nowadays, since obviously Cruz has developed into a world championship level fighter. And then his only draw came in 2017, also in Mexico, against Jose Caliacac Capilla, and that was a points draw there in 2017. But then moving on, finally Isaac Cruz, after fighting his whole career in his home country of Mexico in 2019, he came over to the United States, got some wins there. Some of his best wins are definitely would be his majority decision victory over Thomas Matisse, his KO win in 1, which really got the world kind of noticing him a bit, when he knocked out Diego Magdaleno in 1. But then he defeated Jose Matias Romero and Francisco Vargas by unanimous decision, and that gave him his world title shot against Gervonta Tank Davis. And that one was a pretty controversial one. Some people think Davis won, some people think Cruz won. I personally thought that Cruz did do a great job in that fight. I think I had it a draw, I want to say. But I either had it a draw or 7-5 for Cruz, I want to say. But it was really, really a close fight. Could have went either way, in my opinion. But after that, solid performance against Tank despite losing. He came back, destroyed Yuriorkis Gamboa, which is another solid win. Destroyed Eduardo Ramirez. Defeated Giovanni Cabrera in a pretty closely contested split decision. And then in his most recent fight, he got a brutal 8th-round KO win over Rolly Romero, where he picked up the WBA Super Lightweight World title that Rolly held. So he finally got to become a world champion. But moving on to his opponent's resume, Jose Rayo Valenzuela, also born out of Mexico. He is currently ranked number 38 by BoxRec. He has a record of 13 wins, 2 losses, with 9 wins coming by way of knockout. He is currently 25 years of age and stands at 5 feet 10 inches tall, so a pretty big height advantage for Valenzuela in this one, and a reach advantage as well of 7 inches. He has a 70-inch reach. But to get into his resume, obviously, unlike Isaac Cruz, he had all of his fights in the United States, and he actually started out fighting some tough competition early. Both of them did fight Francisco Vargas, as I mentioned before. Cruz defeated him by decision. When Valenzuela fought him, he KO'd him in 1 round, so that was a pretty solid performance there, obviously, for Valenzuela. But after that victory over Francisco Vargas, he took 2 straight losses as he fought Edwin De Los Santos and got heavily upset, getting knocked out in 3 rounds, which was a huge shocker, since Valenzuela looked like a very well-proven, solid prospect. And then in the fight after that, he fought Chris Colbert and ended up losing via a very tight, razor-thin, close, unanimous decision, all 3 judges having it 95-94. I believe that fight really could have went either way. I believe I gave it to Valenzuela, but I thought it was really close. But then in his most recent fight, he had a great comeback win, knocking out Chris Colbert in the 6th round in their rematch. So he got a very good comeback and got some vengeance there after that kind of controversial loss to Colbert. So in my opinion, this fight overall is a pretty fun one to put on this card. Obviously, a world title is on the line here. It's that WBA regular title. And really how I see this fight going, I think it's really going to go in Isaac Cruz's favor. I mean, Cruz, he's really the whole package when it comes to what you want in kind of one of these Mexican fighters where they just have such a good chin, have relentless pressure, and just have great stamina as well. I mean, he's a very, very good fighter. Obviously, Isaac Cruz is, like I said before, excellent. I mean, he doesn't have the greatest defense, obviously. He does get hit, like we saw even in the Tank fight. However, he has an excellent chin. I've never really seen him hurt, never really seen him really affected by any punches. I mean, he's just got a great chin. And that's, I guess, a sentiment to how well he trains and how well he prepares his body for these fights. But aside from his chin, I mean, he's got relentless pressure. He's got good power, which obviously helps him or has helped him throughout his career. I mean, like we saw in his last fight, even against Rolly Romero, just completely dictated the pace of that fight, knocked him out, and I think that's what we're going to see again in this one. But I think this one's going to end earlier than Isaac Cruz's last fight. Valenzuela, we obviously saw him get brutally knocked out by Edwin De Los Santos, but I mean, Valenzuela is usually the guy that's kind of going forward on his opponents. He's not really necessarily just a go-forward type of fighter, I guess you could say. He's not a pure kind of bob and weave pressure fighter like Isaac Cruz, but he does like to obviously pressure his opponents when he's rather the favorite. But in this fight, it's going to kind of be interesting to see how he does battle against Isaac Cruz, because Isaac Cruz, no matter what, will be the one pressing the action. And I think in this fight, I think we're going to see Isaac Cruz get a pretty early knockout here. I could see him getting the stoppage here in like the first 5 rounds here. And if this fight does go like 4 or 5 rounds, I do see Isaac Cruz having the edge in the scoring. I believe that he will be ahead leading up to the ultimate stoppage where I see this fight going. And just how I see this fight starting out. For Jose Valenzuela, I feel like he's going to really have to just fight smart. I mean, he's just going to have to really fight smart, because obviously we've seen his chin possibly is iffy, obviously. We saw it in that De Los Santos fight. And I know De Los Santos has excellent power, but we obviously saw him take some punishment there. So I think for him, in this one, he's going to have to fight smart off the jab, utilize his reach, utilize his height, and really just try and keep Pitbull Cruz at bay with his jab, with his reach. And I know obviously that's not how he's used to fighting, but I don't really see him having too much success being the fighter coming forward. I feel like he'll just get totally destroyed early if he comes forward. So if he presses forward in this one and really tries to meet Cruz in the middle of the ring and tries to slug with him, I think he's going to get knocked out in the first 3. If he tries to back up and try and box, I feel like he might see some success, might win a round or two. He might win a round or two, like I just said, but I feel like he just will get picked apart as time goes on. And I have a feeling that he's just going to get stopped either way. I just think Isaac Cruz is just a powerful force in this fight. I think depending on how Valenzuela fights, we could see early knockout or kind of a mid-round knockout. But in the end, I'm picking Isaac Cruz to win this fight via KO, TKO, whatever it be. But I think Isaac Cruz will obviously get that 27th victory and 19th knockout, defending his WBA regular super lightweight title here. If you made it this far in the video, comment down below your thoughts on my prediction in this one, if you agree, disagree, and your thoughts on some of the other fights coming up or what could be next for these guys. And I'd also appreciate it if you guys go hit the like button, obviously leave a comment like I said before, and hit the subscribe button as well, because it helps me out a lot. So overall, I believe that Isaac Cruz will defeat Jose Valenzuela by stoppage, either in the earlier to middle rounds. And obviously I see Isaac Cruz getting his first world title defense here of his WBA regular title. And that's really it. I'm MB Boxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.